Hey everybody, how we doing today? So let me introduce you to my custom-made jig, the Yellowtail Snapper Drift Jig. Bam! This little guy here cost me $3,190 right there. So this is for my allaboutthebait.com. There's basically three specific pillars that I'm building the company on. One of them is the all about the bait side, the importance in the category that has to do with all about the bait. Second one is the stuff that I personally use for my fishing down here. The stuff that I use, I'm going to try to sell so that you have a location where you could see what I use and you can buy what I use. And the third pillar is part of this, which is the Florida Keys specific equipment guide. All right, we have a very specific fishery. We have quite a few different types of world-class species to chase after, and each one of them utilizes specialty style equipment and processes to catch them. And my plan is to be able to get those specific types of equipment that are required and sell them on my website. So you can just come to allaboutthebait.com and know that to catch yellowtail snappers, you need the Yellowtail Snapper Drift Jigs that you hear from everybody, but now you know where you can find them. Hence this guy. I've been working on this for the All About the Bait's been open since April 1st, about 4 months. Probably January, February, beginning of the year, so 6 or 7 months. I've been working with a partner, and I actually, since I finally just got them, I took a look at our email chain where we've been emailing back and forth, and it was 120 emails to get to the point where I finally got my shipment in. That includes $190 in shipping from back and forth of sending these little samples back and forth till I get the right perfect specifics that I wanted. I do now own the high pressure molds, the large capacity molds to really turn these guys out in the 3 different weights. And so I've got the processes in place so I can get these replenished when I need them. So a lot of work. But anyways, what are these guys? Okay, these are specific to our fishery down here for the Yellowtail Snapper. Now the Yellowtail Snapper is different than the Yellowtail that's back in California on the West Coast. This is the pretty much synonymous fish that goes with the Florida Keys. It's a snapper family. It's the top tier eating fish. It's a hugely popular recreational fish to chase after that people come down here to fish off of our beautiful reefs out there. They're very important to our commercial fishery, our commercial fishermen, because they basically are a fast growing, very strong species, so that it's a strong fishery that can revitalize itself. So our commercial fishermen, it's a big part of what they export out of the Keys. Also, if you go to a restaurant anywhere in the Florida Keys that sells fresh seafood, one of the predominant species that you'll see listed is the Yellowtail Snapper. It just goes hand in hand with the Florida Keys. With that becomes a specific procedure for catching them. So the way that we generally catch these is that you go out to the reef 4 to 5 miles out to the edge of the reef, you drop your anchor to your boat, anchor up, you get a frozen block of menhaden chum, comes in like 7-pound bricks. You get like a mesh laundry bag, put that block of chum in there, tie it off, tie it to the side of your boat, throw it in the water. It slowly melts and it releases little particles of that chum and the oils, and it starts tracting those fish off the reef to behind your boat. What we're trying to do is to match the hatch by drifting our baits back in that chum line and match that piece of chum so that those yellowtail snappers will come up and eat that bait. Yellowtail snappers are very smart. They have good eyesight, so you have to have things done correctly. So it's not a matter of you can just go out and put a Carolina rig and just have the weight dangling and this bait just fluttering up here. It needs to present very accurately, just like that chum. And that's what these drift jigs are for. All right. So here we're 100 miles out from the mainland. Out in the middle of the ocean, and we have tons of variety of currents that go through, and plus with different wind conditions. So These come in multiple different weights so that you can get that bait to drift and go to that water depth that you want it to. So for instance, you pick a day and there's heavy current, it's raging like a river, you get the 1/8 style jig, put that bait on, and that weight will help to get that jig down in that water column even though there's heavy current. Versus on a day with light current, you can use the 1/32 where the 1/8 one would just drop it straight down and it doesn't look right, it's not matching the flow. But that 1/32 one is very light and it gets that gradual, it gets it right to where that schools are feeding, and boom, you're hooked up. So that's what the importance of these drift jigs are for. Now, why am I spending that $3,190 to get these jigs? It's also because, and I started looking into it because I was frustrated that you can't get these all the time. They sell out and they're gone for months, and they're just nowhere to be found. You can find them online sometimes, but they're expensive. I mean, right around $1 each for just that hook, that little weighted jig. It's crazy. The more I invested into it, I found is the main manufacturers that do all the jigs in the world and stuff, basically can't do a full production run just for the Keys. It's a great fishery. Yeah, we have a per capita more fishermen than anywhere, but it's not a huge, massive population compared to a 1/4 ounce jig head that works on paddle tails that are used everywhere in the United States, everywhere throughout the world, and that they can mass produce for the world versus this drift jig that is really only in the Florida Keys. So that's what got me interested in doing that. Because of that, one of those pillars of allaboutthebait.com is I wanted stuff that pertains specifically to the Keys, where somebody that's never fished the Keys but being told, oh, if you want to go yellowtail snapper, you need to get a yellowtail snapper jig, and they're like, oh, where do I get that? Okay, you go to allaboutthebait.com. I've got that. You want a lure for catching tuna or dolphin trolling, I want to carry that. Specific baits, I've got it. Okay, so I have a one-stop shop for the Florida Keys as part of my website. The process was just that frustration at how expensive and not being able to find them even though they were expensive. So that's where I went through the problem of taking the time and just figuring out how to do it and making them myself. So what I've got them currently produced 4 different colors. We got the pink, chartreuse, white, and red. For me, honestly, color is not that big of a deal, but some fishermen prefer certain colors. And I've got them in 3 sizes, the 1/32, 1/16 of an ounce, and 1/8 of an ounce. Another key feature I never liked is that sometimes you can only find the cheaper branded manufactured of these jigs, and they use that cheap thin wire on it. I think because they're targeted for the freshwater use, and they use that real thin wire, and in our saltwater with the fish that we carry, because yeah, if you get an average style 14-inch, 12 to 14-inch yellowtail, those jigs will work fine. The problem is, like anything around here, we have no fences. You're going to run into a 30-pound grouper, 20-pound mutton snapper, okay, 5-pound mangrove snapper, a dolphin, tuna, bonita, kingfish. And if you catch those on that little cheap wire, you're going to lose them because of the hook. These hooks, you're not going to lose them, okay? These are the Mustad 7766Ds tarpon hooks. Heavy duty, very strong, okay? This will not be your weak point if you hook into that grouper or that snapper. Your leader will, because you tend to use lighter leader for the yellowtail snapper. But these are serious hooks, okay? On top of that, my pricing for these guys are, I'm not selling them for $1 a piece or $3 to $5 for a 5-pack where you can buy them at the tackle shops. I'm selling them in 50 packs because 5 of them will last like a couple hours with the amount of sharks and kudas and toothy critters. I'm selling a 50 pack for $15 for the 1/32 ounce and the 1/16 ounce, $16 for the 1/8 ounce, and this is for 50 packs, free shipping to your home, no taxes unless you live in Florida, sorry. And also I'm going to do a variety pack where, like, on the whatever the color it is, I'm going to do an equal amount of the 1/32, the 1/16, 1/8 in one pack. I think it comes out to 48 of them, 16 of each, and that'll be $18 my labor. And then you can go from there. You'll figure out the ones that you generally use all the time, and then the next batch you just buy 50 of that specific one, and then you're not buying stuff that you're not going to use. So anyways, that is my personal allaboutthebait.com Yellowtail snapper drift jigs. Pick them up now. Bye.